we're confronted, or we're not. They're not seeing the presence of God. They're not in. They're angry at life, or how are you being with these people? How are you inviting them?
Well, I'm being compassionate, understanding, caring, and but I'm not necessarily being physically with them for long periods of time.
Mm-hmm.
That is, I don't require myself to be in their presence.
Mm-hmm.
If they're continually, non-stop, angry or confrontive or not seeing the divinity in any part of life, much less me, I simply say, you know, I'm not choosing now to spend much more time with you.
You have that conversation?
Well, I've had that conversation with many people.
Mm-hmm.
And I just see, I'm not making you wrong. You're not wrong.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't about judgment.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm simply not choosing in my life to spend my time in this way because it is not supporting my experience of who I really am. Although I would love to be with you from time to time. I'm not dismissing you from my life.
Mm-hmm.
We can talk and visit and be together, but I certainly won't be living with you for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I would never live with somebody who was in that situation of not being supportive and being constantly aggressive and being constantly critical and not seeing the divinity in the situation or in me or those things you talked of. I would never have a intimate relationship with that person. Well, it couldn't be intimate because intimacy is about seeing the other person as they actually are.
So being authentic and really declaring and speaking out and being transparent is a major step also in living this truth and in connecting with others in a truthful way. Because a lot of people walk with masks and try to please others.
Well, they do.
And living authentically seems like a really important thing these days.
Of course it is. Of course it is. If people are trying to please others, it's because they do not know who they really are. When you know who you really are and have chosen to step into the living of that, the idea of pleasing someone else becomes less and less useful to you, less and less attractive, even less and less beneficial. Because too often, in order to please someone else, you have to abandon who you really are. And betrayal of yourself, in order not to betray another, is betrayal nonetheless. It's the highest betrayal. So we learn that as we get older. And we learn that, I'm not going to betray myself anymore. Now, again, I talk a better game than I know because I still find myself in what I call other pleasing behaviors. But to be good to myself, to be fair to myself, a lot fewer than I did when I was 30. So that's called evolution, that's called progress, that's called growth. So I don't have as many people-pleasing behaviors now as I did 30 years ago. And I think that's a product of age, too. You get a few gray hairs on your head, you just don't give a damn anymore, or what people think of you. They either get you or they don't. If they don't get you, that's fine. You learn as you get older that if they don't get you, that's fine. Because what age teaches you is that you can get along, whether they like you or not. So when you're 35 or 25 or 15, that thought never occurs to you. How do I get along without these people liking me? But when you're 60, you get real clear that you can get along just fine without those people liking you.
Well, in all fairness, I think a lot of young generation coming in, including the indigo that you speak a lot, are bringing in some qualities that, and some heart qualities and some emotional qualities that are enabling this these connections and this kind of wisdom to really be present at an early age.
I hope that's true. I hope that's true as pervasively as you suggest that it is. I haven't really, honestly, done enough research about that or looked at that as closely as perhaps you have. So, but I hope that that's true. I do think it's true to some degree. There's no question about that. I know that's true. It's just a matter of how pervasive it is.
Yeah.
But if we're going to have a new tomorrow, that's going to be the avenue that we're going to have to travel. That's what we'll have to do to create a new future, is to get younger and younger and younger people, more and more generations of us, to think the way we're talking here. Because it's one thing to talk this way when you're 67. It's something else to talk this way when you're 27. And if we had 27-year-old people talking like this, now you got a new world. Yeah. Because who listens to old geezers?
We do. Well, Neil, it's amazing, and I think there's another thing that is really important and you talk a lot about is gratitude. How did you find going back to where you were and still today, with challenges that I'm sure you have in your life too, like every person? How do you find those moments to be grateful for, especially when you had nothing, or what seems like nothing? How did you find this place where this seed of light can start? And
by seeing the gift that was there. See, I couldn't find gratitude. How can you find gratitude if you don't experience the gift?
Yeah.
So the first step of gratitude is to see the gift. Now, again, this is a product of being an old person. I'm not so sure that I'm spiritually wise so much as I'm old. But the older you get, the more you value every day, each moment, and stuff matters less and less. It just matters less and less. I mean, stuff that would bother you when you were 25. With respect to all the indigo children. But, so at least I'm talking from my experience now.
Yeah.
So as an older person, I can tell you that I see the gift in just getting up in the morning. I see the gift in, a cup of coffee, or a pleasant song on the radio, or a beautiful sunrise. I mean, I don't take much of life for granted anymore, as I did when I was younger. But you ask a good question. If you're in the middle of difficulties and problems, how can you feel gratitude? And the answer is you've got to fight to find the gift, even in the difficulty. That's what I was talking about earlier. When you shift your perspective from the perspective of the mind, because I want to tell you something, life will never make sense to your mind. If you're trying to get life to make sense with your mind, you might as well forget it. Because life will never make sense to your mind. Because mind is very logical, and life is not. So in order for life to make sense, you've got to be, I mean this literally, out of your mind. And you've got to be into your soul. But when you begin to see life from the perspective of your soul, then even in the midst, as I was saying earlier, even in the midst of the worst of it, you can see the gift. And when you can see the gift, then you can say, thank you, God. Thank you, God, for this gift, which I would not have been able to perceive had I not embraced the perspective of the soul. But now I see that even this horrible situation is bringing to me. I even see that. But again, I want to say something. This is important because when you see that, when you see the gift and begin to move into gratitude, the shift away from resisting to gratitude changes the exterior energies such that the situation itself improves, sometimes automatically, without you doing anything. I have a favorite thing that I like to say. Life will resolve itself in the process of life itself. If you simply appreciate life itself. So what I've learned to do is to just go with the flow. I hate this trite beyond belief, but it's true. Just let the river go by. Stop trying to make the river go where you think the river's supposed to go.
So you let things come more to you now?
I let things come more to me, and if something is coming to me that I don't appreciate or want, I just step aside and let it go. Like I do what I call the Aikido of the mind. Just let it go right past me. And things go past me today that even 10 years ago I would not have.